I'm going to be talking about the global trends in packaging sustainability. My name is Pierre Pienaar, and I'm the president of the World Packaging Organization. So let's have a look at the sustainability aspect across our globe. Packaging certainly has a place in society. It's just that that place is not in the sea. This is the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. And some of you might have heard of this, and it's the size of Spain, Germany, and France all put together. It lies between Hawaii and the Californian coast. It's one of 4 such patches, but certainly the largest. And that's only what we're seeing above the sea surface. What about below? We need to get to a circular economy where we have less impact on the natural resources of planet Earth. And only those that cannot be recycled will end up in energy recovery and obviously having a profound effect there on reducing the need for oil or gas or coal. We know we require packaging. Our society can't do without it. It's there to protect the food. It's there to extend the shelf life. It reduces food waste. But we certainly need to provide solutions that reduce the amount of packaging that we are using. And we, the WPO, we see a future without waste. But we need to increase recycling. And I'm going to discuss that in this presentation. At the moment, over the past few years, we've certainly made an impact on the food reduction waste. We continue to work on packaging waste reduction, and certainly in developing countries. And we are increasing the awareness of education, which is paramount. Educating the layman, educating the man and woman in the street. When we target unnecessary packaging, we develop more monomaterials. That's key, and increase recyclability. We are achieving great success in many countries, predominantly EU, in the extended producer responsibility schemes. And we try and currently to implement this in some developing countries in Southeast Asia, slightly modified. But the producer of the packaging needs to take responsibility for that which they produce. If one looks at this image of the globe, you can see fruit and veggies anywhere, anytime across the world. How do we get bananas in the northern hemisphere in winter? By packaging. Packaging allows this to happen. It wasn't there in our grandparents' time, but we want it. We want fruit anywhere, anytime. We are placing the demands on the system. Some of them are unrealistic demands, where we're extending the shelf life of fresh meat, for example, for in excess of 60 days. We need to focus on packaging waste, and certainly in the EU, you guys in Northern Ireland are doing a great job. At the moment, you're running at 20 to 30% on plastics across the EU in general, and your target is at 50-55 for 2025. And likewise, metal, paperboard, and so on are doing exceptionally well. Well done, well done. It's not going so well in other parts of the world. In China, currently, there are no set recycling rates. They are working on it, for sure. They have plans for low carbon by 2030 and carbon neutral by 2036. In India, in terms of recyclability, they're banning that to reach landfills by 2025. And they want to ensure that there's 100% recycling and reuse of PET by when we're not 100% sure. In the USA, as a country, there are no recycling waste targets. However, each individual state, or should I say some states, have targets in place. In Canada, as you can see there, they want the recycled content for all plastics by to be 30% by 2025, and ensure that 50% of all plastic packaging is recycled or composted by 2025. In Indonesia, Southeast Asia, they want to cut their waste by 30% in marine plastics and 70% by 2025. This is an extremely big problem in this area, in this region of marine debris. And I'm sure many of you have seen the images. The one thing that I've, I guess, had the opportunity, I wasn't going to say the privilege, but certainly the opportunity pre-COVID was visiting many, many countries as president of the WPO. Somehow I always get taken to dump sites. This one is in Cambodia, in Phnom Penh. And that entire hill there is waste. Be that packaging waste or any other waste. And it just continues to get worse. This one's in Lagos in Nigeria. This is one of their larger ones. And there are generations that live on that dump site. And that hill there is all rubbish, all waste. But if you see in the foreground here, it looks like it's the beginning of some recycling happening, which is encouraging. And I could certainly show you many, many more images of that. I mentioned education right at the start. It is absolutely paramount. I cannot stress this enough. Every podium that I am on across the world, I tell the listeners that we need to create opportunities to educate our next generation. We need to educate them. They are the future of our industry. We need to equip them with the information, and we need to empower them to become more responsible citizens of the world. And here you can see this is grade ones in a primary school, not too far from where I live. And I believe that by educating these little ones, we achieve great results. And I proved that in the last 14 years of doing this. But we also can do the same to secondary and to tertiary. Because if we don't, we will continue to decimate our landscape and use more natural resources than we are putting back into planet Earth. At the moment, we're running at just under 1.5, 2 planet Earths in terms of our natural resources that we're using. By 2050, we will require just short of 3 planet Earths, and that's not possible. But if we change our thinking and do what we say, we know what is right to do, we can be back on track by 2050. And this information is available through the world, through the United Nations. Because simply put, we cannot have another Great Pacific garbage patch. Thank you for listening.